Tonight, Special Prosecutor questions Ayawaso West Wuogon MP as it commences a comprehensive investigation into allegations of vote buying in some constituencies following Monday's special voting exercise. We have details as the EC says they do not have the mandate to investigate the matter, but the security agencies that are clothed with the mandate to do so.
We have provided the facility, they are voting. If somebody is distributing food and others, if you see them, we'll stop them. But it is not our responsibility to see that somebody is committing crime or not committing crime. That's not our responsibility.
We'll have more on this particular story as Kojo reviews the vote buying allegations undermine Ghana's democracy and something must be done about it.
We've had a couple of incidents where people are standing around the polling areas and giving out money to some individuals, which really is quite unacceptable. This is an issue that we cannot condone in a fledgling democracy because it undermines the credibility of the ballot.
We have latest from the OSP's investigation on this particular matter and more here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Well, tonight, Special Prosecutor has questioned Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon, Lydia Sarah Malhassan, as it commences a comprehensive investigation into allegations of vote buying in some constituencies following Monday's special voting exercise. Now, according to Joy News sources, the investigation will go beyond the MPP candidate as the OSP intensifies actions to curb corruption among politically exposed persons. You will recall the Election Observer Group, Kojo, has also reviewed in its latest report on the special voting that such incidents were reported not only in Ayawaso West Wuogon and Wejagbawe in the Greater Accra region, but also in Keta in the Volta region and German North in the Bono region. The group is urging the Ghana Police Service to act swiftly by prosecuting those involved. We have not heard from the police, but we're trying our best to understand what the police is doing on this particular matter. Now, Kojo believes if the police does so, it will serve as a deterrent and help prevent similar occurrences during the main election on December 7. We'll hear from Kojo and OSP shortly, but first, the Electoral Commission says there is little it can do in such instances as it doesn't have the mandate to investigate such matters. Here's the director responsible for training at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Srebo Kweku.
Crime is crime, right? So if anybody does anything which is untoward, it is the Ghanaians who should take care of that. They don't expect that Electoral Commission should be moving, checking who is giving food. That's not the responsibility of the Electoral Commission.
So you mean what has even happened in the past, EC will do nothing about it?
I'm told that the police was called in and the Office of Special Prosecutor had come in. They didn't bring the Electoral Commission because that's not our way. We have provided the facility, they are voting. If somebody is distributing food and others, if you see them, we'll stop them. But it is not our responsibility to see that somebody is committing crime or not committing crime. That's not our responsibility.
But sometimes they say your officers are being given food because you don't provide the food for them. What's going to happen now?
Give them the money to give, because if you say we want to give them food, look at the number of people we are recruiting. We cook the food. How are we going to do the distribution? And then the food, when it delays and it's not properly, it can lead to even food poisoning. So we pay them and they should use the money. So what we expect from them is that when they are going to the field, they can prepare for some beverages, can get some biscuit, some drinks and the rest. Because it's difficult for you to store cooked food for them. So they should get ready. When they finish, they are paid. It's consolidated in their allowance.
Usually they do say that the allowances delay and they are also in situations where they cannot pre-finance, and that's why the political parties have that room to feed them.
The allowance delaying. Right now, we've trained the people. If you are to give them payment and the person doesn't go, what happens? That was causing financial loss. Is that not the case? Because if the person has not performed their work, are you going to pay them? Right? Some people will want to do the work, but nature has said that something can happen. So no matter, one day have finished the work, then they will submit the final list. No, we recruited Kojo Amajua. Then when they finish, they will confirm that they are the people who did the work. then we'll process them and we'll pay them. We cannot pay them before. Because if you pay them, we're talking of, we are recruiting more than 200,000 people. And you pay them and they decide not to go and do the work. What will you do? So there's no way they can be paid before the work. It's not possible.
So that's the EC's Director in charge of training, Dr. Serebo Kweku there. Let's bring in my colleague Kweku Asante because we want to find out what more the Office of the Special Prosecutor has been gathering on this particular matter, since we understand that the office has already engaged Madam Lydia Seiram Al-Hassan. Kweku Asante is with our political desk and he joins me on the lines with Kweku. What are we picking from the OSP's investigation so far?
Investigation has picked up and it's ongoing as we speak. Special Prosecutor's Office has actually, as we speak, engaged Madam Lydia Al-Hassan, the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon, as part of ongoing investigations. Our sources at the OSP's office indicate that she was asked a few questions, but we do not know as of now whether that was an arrest or would constitute an invitation of a sort. But the reports that we're also getting from the office is that the OSP is doing some close monitoring of the Madam Lydia Al-Hassan's activities, and typically the OSP is looking at gathering certain substantial evidence before it will proceed to make a formal arrest and then proceed to charge him. And so investigation is ongoing. We know that yesterday John Dumelo and his agent at that polling station during the special voting filed a criminal complaint against the Member of Parliament and the EC and the Member of Parliament and the OSP are taking the matter up and is looking at it. But John Dumelo himself, it appears, will also have to answer some questions, because according to our information from the OSP, they also observed during the process that John Dumelo was talking to some of the voters while they were in the queue. And so the OSP is looking at it to see if it breaches any rules regarding the election. So John Dumelo is also being looked at in terms of the special prosecutor. But the sticking point here is that today being Wednesday and barely 3 days for that crucial election to happen, we cannot or we do not expect the OSP to actually formally charge any of these persons who have been fingered as having been involved in an election-related corruption. Because the OSP, as we understand now, is keen not to be seen as seeking to interfere in the election. And the understanding we are getting is that the OSP is concerned that arresting one candidate while the election is just days away could interfere in the election and could give another party an undue advantage. That is the kind of information we are getting, that the OSP may not take any action between now and December 7th, when the actual election will happen. And after the election, if the OSP is able to gather enough evidence and it feels like he can proceed with this, then he can do so. But whilst we're talking about on all this from the OSP, we're getting final indication that Kingsley Nyako, the Member of Parliament of Ayawaso and currently the Deputy Minister for Education, will recall that in the previous election, he was seen handing over money to some electoral officials in an envelope. Allegedly, he said he was giving that money to them so that they can use it to buy food. And the OSP, we know now, has formally concluded investigation and is going to charge him, Nyako. And in fact, charges have been pressed. And in the coming days, we'll perhaps see the documents and the court filings and get to know specifically what of people have been leveled or have been charged with Kingsley Nyako, the MP for Ayawaso and Deputy Education Minister, for that conduct. So that is what we are learning from the OSP in terms of all that happened with Lydia Al-Hassan, and then what we are now learning that John Dumelo is also being looked at.
Okay. Now, we also know that Kojo has released a report on these more practices that we saw in the special voting. Tell us more about that.
Well, yes, Kojo also did find some of these incidents, and in his report that he published after collating or aggregating all the reports from its observers all across the country. The Kojo says the observed reported 2 cases of alleged vote buying. One, they also looked at Keta in the Volta region, where some party reps at the polling station shared money to people who voted for their candidate. And so persons who were able to snap a picture and prove that they voted for this candidate or that were paid. We do not know from this report which political party or parties did this, but Kojo is reporting that in Keta, people were paid for voting a certain way. And then at Wejagbawi constituency here in the Greater Accra region, Kojo says some individuals believed to be MPP party representatives were at the polling station gate, giving out 100 and 500 CDs to voters to cast their votes for the MPP candidates. And so in Wejagbawi, Kojo reporting that incumbent paid 100 and 500 Ghana CDs to persons to vote for MPP candidates. And then finally, in German North, and that is a constituency that has a member of parliament who is an NDC MP. This MP's non-uniformed police officer, actually, from Kojo's report, is said to have attempted to prevent NPP party chairman and several reps from sharing money, and that this police officer was verbally attacked by the NPP constituency chairman and several reps of the party. These are allegations that Kojo's agents have been able to aggregate and have since shared same with Kojo, and Kojo has since published his findings from Monday's special voting press.
Kweku, I'm grateful to you. So that's Kweku Asante with details of what Kojo has put out. But at a news conference today on the same matter, talking about the level of malpractices in terms of people trying to induce voters in line to cast their vote, a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Yawo Tamaklo, called for the arrest and prosecution of embattled member of parliament for Ayawaso West, Wuogon, Lydia Al-Hassan, for sharing food to security officials who waited in line to vote on Wednesday. He's been speaking at a news conference earlier today, calling on the fact that she has to be arrested and dealt with in this particular manner. Let's take a listen to him earlier in the conference.
It was so shameful. And what hurt me most was that these people in line to go and vote were security personnel. And I didn't see one of them rejecting it. I didn't see one of them rejecting it. And what also disturbed me was that the PC, that's the parliamentary candidate for that particular constituency, when questioned, she denied it. Such a person is not qualified. In fact, if it had been in a civilized country, she should have left that contest by now. The party would demand that she leave. The party would demand that she leave. She denied flatly that she has not been there. Why she has been captured on video. We don't need such people in parliament. We don't need such people as lawmakers. They will destroy this country. Indeed, I will pray that she loses the election if she's still going to contest, because she is a person you cannot rely on. And this also should alarm us and alarm the security service. I have always been saying the IGP seems to talk a lot, but a lot happens that he is quiet. Such a person should have been arrested then. Indeed, the statement made by Wuntumi calls for an immediate arrest. Immediate. I think we have been hearing a lot of lectures from the IGP. He must act. That is what the people of this country want. He must act as an IGP.
So that's a founding member of the MPP, Dr. Yawo Tamaklo. Let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to a PA to John Dumelo, because now we understand the OSP is expanding the investigations to have to bring in John Dumelo as well, because they also witnessed some actions that he undertook there. Benjamin Avonoche is a special assistant or special aid to John Dumelo. Ben, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, you've heard there that the OSP is now roping in your parliamentary candidate into this investigation. Does this come to you as a surprise? What do you make of this?
We have not been notified by the OSP so far as any such investigation is concerned. We took the intel, I think, on one of your sister stations earlier this afternoon, that the OSP was interested in speaking to John. I mean, on the basis that they picked some intelligence on the ground, which we are not aware of. Because what really is a matter of contention is that the current member of parliament was seen and captured on a video handing over items in a park that had now turned out to be food to voters while they were in the queue, security officers. Some of them who are even about receiving ballot papers. That is what is the matter in consensus. And that is what we have formally, filed a complaint with the OSP. If the OSP thinks that based on their own investigation or whatever information they now currently have, they want to invite the parliamentary candidate for questioning, why not? We are very law-abiding people. and we'll avail ourselves. But what is important is that we will expect them to investigate the matter and take an action on it immediately, because Saturday is a day for general elections, and we do not want a situation where what happened at the special voting center, where the MP was openly attempting to influence security people, while they were in the queue to vote, to occur again. And I was saying earlier this morning at one of your stations that if the state institutions do not take action, we the citizens would have to make sure that such unlawful practices do not happen anywhere close to the polling station, or even when people are in the queue. That we can assure them. But if they say, "Oh look, John," they have seen John, and they have, I don't really know what their concern is, because what is the issue? Why are the state institutions trying to look for something to equalize the conduct of the MP?
That they saw him do, speak to people who were in line to vote, and those are actions that are also frowned upon by the law.
Speak to them about what? Speak to them about what? What did we all see? What did we see in the video? It was the MP, the member of parliament, who was in the queue handing out items to voters, security officers in the queue. That is the matter in contention. They should focus on that.
Okay.
These attempts to rope us into all this issue will not fly. But if they want to invite us for investigation, why not? We will make ourselves available. But as we speak, we have not had any official invitation from them. We will be waiting to hear from them.
Okay. But the OSP says that because the election is around on Saturday, they cannot arrest anyone. You say that they cannot say that they have to do it today or tomorrow?
Basically, that is the point they are trying to drive at. That is why they are trying to draw John in, that they saw him speaking to people. You have evidence of a member of parliament handing over items to voters. A formal complaint had been made.
And they've engaged there today. So they've started.
Then they should take an action. They don't think that this is enough to cause an arrest. What we have all seen in the video is not enough to cause an arrest. The only reason why they are trying to bring in John, it is because they want to equalize and use an excuse why they cannot arrest anybody.
Okay.
Basically, that's what they are doing. But I expect them to be on campus on Saturday to make sure that those things don't occur again. Otherwise, we will be forced to prevent it from going on.
All right. You what did you say? You prevent what?
We as citizens, it is our responsibility to make sure that people do not conduct themselves unlawfully. If the agencies, state agencies, have a responsibility to do their work and they are not doing it, it should be our responsibility as citizens to make sure that unlawful conduct do not happen at the polling station, and we will be determined to stop that.
And what do you intend to do? Because it does not lie with you to do that. There are security personnel there, and you need to allow them to do their work.
It took our action to stop them from sharing the items at the special voting. We were the ones who draw attention of the security. The security people were expecting to prevent the thing from going. We're the ones actually receiving the items, and you saw that on the video. It took us. We have had to raise the alert and ask them to stop before the media even came around to capture it. The security people were expect to stop the action. We're the ones involved in it.
So what I do understand is that you draw the attention of security officers for them to handle it. You won't do it yourselves because the law does not allow you to do that.
My point is that when people are breaking the law and the security people stand around and watch them continue doing what they are doing, we, the citizens of our country, have a responsibility to make sure that our laws are respected.
Okay. All right. Benjamin Avonoche, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. This is still Top Story. In this same matter, Kojo is calling for these allegations to be dealt with because they undermine the democracy that we've all come to cherish. This is research officer with Kojo Road Osei Afol speaking to us earlier.
We've also picked up a few incidents about photographing of ballots, which really is quite unfortunate because it then undermines the secrecy of the ballot. And there are several reasons why some of these things are legally not allowed, because we are looking at having a very free, fair, and credible process. You don't want voters being compromised. You don't want them being induced materially of development. And I was going to look at some of the other related issues like vote buying, people being given monies in a couple of constituencies where we had some reports to this effect. A couple of incidents, one in Greater Accra. These are incidents that we are verified. we've had, as I said, a couple of incidents where people are standing around the polling areas and giving out monies to some individuals, which really is quite unacceptable.
So that's the Kojo research officer there. But let's bring in Albert Ahin, Albert Kofi Ahin. He's national coordinator of Kojo. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, if you look at what your monitors brought to your table, what must we do to ensure these things do not happen on Saturday?
As we saw in the video.
Yeah, this is very, very sad. I saw those things and I was asking myself, when did this thing start in Ghana? We all along have been getting the impression that, okay, if people are even giving money and other things, it is not done in the open. But this one is, in the full glare of everybody, the general public. And I think it should send a signal to everybody, every voter, every politician in Ghana that I think it's getting out of hand. What is very sad is the fact that the security agents who are supposed to be arresting people when they do such things, when such infractions occur, are the very people who are receiving the parcels themselves. So I think we need to, first of all, educate Ghanaians. Maybe people are doing it out of ignorance, but I doubt it. I doubt it whether it is ignorance, because you cannot take food or a parcel to a police station and give it to people in a queue. I think it's too much. So maybe what we have to do is to preach about it, tell the EC maybe to mount some kind of education. But not only EC, the CSOs and all other stakeholders to get involved. I believe it is getting out of hand and something ought to be done about it. The people with themselves who are supposed to be making arrests are the ones taking the passport. So where do we go from there?
But what does this mean to the image of the security this Saturday, especially on the potential ability to be compromised?
Yes, if you have been compromised in such a manner, where everybody in Ghana sees that you have taken such a thing, it's very a blot on the image. And I think the National Security Task Force should send a message to all other security men and women who are engaged in this exercise to be circumspect, to be very careful, and not to repeat what happened on the day of the special vote. It should send a signal to everybody.
Okay. I'm grateful to you for joining us, sir. That's Albert Kofi Ahin. He's national coordinator of the Coalition for Domestic Election Observers, Kojo there. Let's bring in Edem Senanu. He is with the Citizen Movement against corruption and pick his thought on the actions by the OSP so far. People sought to bring in the fact that, well, why bring in John Dumelo here? Let me bring in Edem Senanu. But this story has to do with the fact that there is potential for people to do same on Saturday, and people are calling for strict actions, and people are even asking, why haven't we heard from the police service as of now? Edem Senanu is an anti-corruption campaigner. I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, what do you make of the OSP's actions so far, bringing in the actions they've taken to interview Lydia Serum Al-Hassan there, and even looking at the potential of also investigating or speaking with John Dumelo?
Is that to me? Sorry.
Yes, to you, Edem Senanu.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I think that we would expect the OSP to have done this. What I am not clear about is, so what are the next steps? So they have footage. What's the conclusion they've drawn? What actions are they going to take in relation to the law? So, yes, it's a good start. But substantively, the people of Ghana want to know, in relation to the law, has she breached? She been in violation? What actions are they going to take to set the kind of precedent that prevents others from following suit and doing similar things?
And the fact that, I mean, the police hasn't spoken about this, is that surprising to you?
Yes, it is. I mean, the whole network system of the electoral supervision seems to be very slow to be responsive to these issues. And that's surprising because, I mean, if anybody does this and you have some very militant political activists, it could degenerate into a serious conflict on Saturday if this is repeated. So they should use the opportunity to set the tone and ensure that people appreciate that this should not happen.
Grateful to you, Adamson, and he is an anti-corruption campaigner. And that's it for Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies, holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Newsnight.
There's a business in every woman, from the young lady brimming with exciting and novel business ideas to the market queen managing her empire. There's the she architect, quantity surveyor, realtor, business consultant, crafting dreams into reality, and the multitasking mom seamlessly blending work at home. The entrepreneur, meticulously checking stock, to the corporate woman sealing deals on the move. Indeed, there's a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Benefit from tailored activities, networking, business and technical support, free webinars, trainings, and more. To join this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da na mada with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Go Ghana for. Let us gather here.
Eja, but why have you called us all here?
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says he is coming to introduce a 24-hour economy policy that will ensure round-the-clock operations by businesses and government organizations to enhance productivity, boost production, and create millions of decent, well-paying jobs.
24-hour economy? Can you enlighten us?
Oh, simple. GM wants organizations with huge customer traffic like DVLA, Passport Office, ports, customs, as well as private businesses like agro-processing factories, industries, sanitation, construction companies to run 3 shifts of 8 hours each. For private businesses, Mahama will give them security support services, tax incentives, financing support, and cheap and reliable power. This is what we call Formula 133.
But what formula is that?
It simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. Simple.
Wow, this is indeed a game changer.
Formula 133. Oh, yeah, baby.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and this Christmas, Volta Serene Hotel invites you to an unforgettable celebration. Arrive to the refreshing taste of coconut and dance the night away with our DJ on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Day, enjoy tasty grills, exciting games, and our famous all-white party with Kwanpa Live Band. Adventure awaits with a tour to Mount Jemmy on 26th, followed by an all-you-can-eat local buffet and a cooking competition on 27th. Don't miss out on aerobics, hiking, and a fun-filled pool party on 28th. And on New Year's Eve, get ready for a breathtaking fireworks show and start 2025 with a bang, dancing to the Kwanpa Live Band. Packages are as follows. Individuals, 3,000 Ghana cedis for 2 nights and 3,750 Ghana cedis for 3 nights. Couples, 4,300 Ghana cedis for 2 nights and 5,400 Ghana cedis for 3 nights. Families, 6,850 Ghana cedis for 2 nights and 9,000 Ghana cedis for 3 nights. Call or WhatsApp 0541 539 867 to book now. Volta Serene Hotel, your perfect Christmas getaway.
The presidential and parliamentary elections 2024.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana is constitutionally mandated to conduct presidential and parliamentary elections on Saturday, 7 December 2024. Voting will start at 7 a.m. prompt and end at 5 p.m. Please report at the polling station as early as you can to cast your vote. Bring along your voter ID card so you can easily be identified. Even if you don't have your voter ID card, still go to the polling station. A name reference list officer will check your particulars in the names reference list. A verification officer will verify your identity as a registered voter with a verification device. You will be issued a presidential ballot paper. Please check to see that there are no marks on it. Also, ensure it has a validation stamp at the back. Make your way to the voting booth. Thumbprint correctly your choice of presidential candidate and cast your vote. Proceed to the next polling assistant for a parliamentary ballot paper. Make your way to the voting booth. Thumbprint correctly your choice of MP and cast your ballot. Please leave the polling station after casting your ballot. You may return at the close of polls for counting of ballots. Have a say in issues that affect you. Exercise your right to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Days to the December polls. Hashtag Stop Galamsey now still on. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight on Newsnight is the final lap of campaigning ahead of Decision Day on December 7. We delve into the last-ditch efforts to sway undecided voters and solidify support from the decided. All eyes on the final rallies of the NPP and NDC at Legon and Medina as the political battle intensifies. We have the latest from the Election Security Task Force meeting with the two parties to properly coordinate movement in that part of town to ease the inconvenience from the congestion.
The Inspector General of Police and the team from the Police Management Board met leaders or representatives of the NDC and the NPP as both parties prepare for their final rallies ahead of the general election.
We have the very latest from that. Meanwhile, NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama sharpens his criticism of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia targeting the e-gate controversy, saying it has exposed the fragile fundamentals of Bawumia's much publicized digital agenda.
You can do all the propaganda with digitalization you like. If the fundamentals of your digitalization are weak, the digital gates will expose you.
Plus, the endorsement of the PNC and the GFP of the NDC will tell you a bit more about that. And all is set for the special voting in the two remaining regions, Eastern and Western, after it was rescheduled by the Electoral Commission over ballot paper leakage. We'll hear from the EC, which says it is all set.
As we speak now, all the materials that are required for the elections have been dispatched to the two regions. Because if you are a special voter and you don't go there tomorrow to go and vote, you will not be able to vote on December 7th.
Also, 6 civil society organizations say they've been sidelined by the Electoral Commission because they are yet to get accreditation to observe Saturday's polls.
The Electoral Commission is run like a private property by Madame Jean Mensah.
Plus, the Institute of Democratic Governance, IDEC, urges civil society organizations to collaborate on information sharing to ensure credible elections reporting.
Say whatever information is going out has been verified. Now that there are many, some code of conduct may be necessary, some training will be necessary so that we don't compete in putting information out that has not been verified.
And President Akufo-Addo upgrades Ho from a municipal assembly to a metropolitan assembly together with 6 other assemblies. We have details of that.
And in business, rising prices of some food items pushed November inflation marginally to 23%.
And in sports, former Ghana international Sam Johnson urges inform Barbara Mann to reject calls for his return to the Black Stars amid the team's recent struggles.
That and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight. Please do well to join us here for more on your election headquarters. Join us via WhatsApp is 055-1111-997. We are also live on X Spaces, myjoyonline.com, Love 99.5 FM, and affiliates across the country. I am Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on for details. We start off from the election headquarters.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, Chopbox Technology, a convenient service, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Youth Break Foundation, bridging the gaps for positive youth development. Syntex Tanks, Air Strong, Air Tough, Potential Real Estate, your trusted partner in real estate. Deluxe Paints, Paints Mu Champion.
And tonight, of course, is the final lap of campaigning ahead of Decision Day on December 7. And of course, we know that the 2 main political parties are in a last-ditch effort to sway undecided voters and solidify support from the decided already. And all eyes are on the final rallies of the 2 parties, NPP and NDC, at Legon and Medina, as the political parties, the battle intensifies for them. Already, the Election Security Task Force has been meeting with the 2 parties to properly coordinate movement in that part of town. As expected, there will be a lot of congestion in that area. If you are in around that area, I'm sure you're wondering what exactly the plans are for you in terms of going home tomorrow, because both parties are having their rally starting from 12, and also we're hearing about 1 p.m. tomorrow. And by now, they would still be on. But my colleague James Aveji is joining us live from the police headquarters, where we've been getting some updates from the Election Security Task Force, National Election Security Task Force, on what exactly the plans are for tomorrow, as the 2 parties prepare for their major final rallies tomorrow. James, you've been hearing from the police on this. What exactly are the arrangements?
So this arrangement is purely for supporters of the NDC and the NPP. The diversions are towards the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, as well as Medina, where the NDC will be holding their rally. So let me take you through the diversions. For NPP supporters who will be coming from Adenta, they will take left at the Reef Junction towards Aviation, and then to the UPSA campus, and then they will take right to Okonglo and into the University of Ghana. For NPP supporters from Domi, they will go through Hatto Junction towards Gimpa, and then into the University of Ghana campus and make their way to the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Now, for NDC supporters who are coming from Petekwate or, Accra Central, they will take right at Chiashi towards UPSA, and then take left to the Mandina Main Road, and then make their way to Zongo Junction, where the rally would be happening. For NDC supporters who will be coming from Domi, they will take left at the KFC Junction on the Hatcho Road towards the Wisconsin University, and then make their way to Zongo Junction. Now, this, according to the police, is to prevent any of the supporters of the 2 political parties meeting at a point where which could result in any form of violence or chaos among the supporters. And so what they are trying to do is to cut off supporters from the Medina area and then Chassis area, so that none of the 2 will be meeting at any point in time. So this, as I said earlier, is targeted at the supporters of the political parties and not the general road users.
But then we are concerned. How about the general road users? What happens to us is also the concern for many. Did they say?
For general road users, the main road, which is the Adenta Madina main road through Okonglo, Atomic Junction to Okonglo to Shiati and to Accra, the indication we have is that the general road users will use the same route, but for party supporters, the expectation is that they would be, or they are expected to be in party colors, and so there will be police barriers at where the diversions are supposed to happen, where when police officers see the supporters in their paraphernalia in cars or on motorbikes, they would insist that they take the appropriate route to their destinations. But for road users, the roads would be, they would take the route as they used to be, except the party supporters.
Okay. Well, we can hear from Grace Akufie-Siedu as he addressed the media a while ago in terms of the preparations.
Today, the Inspector General of Police and the team from the Police Management Board met leaders or representatives of the NDC and the NPP as both parties prepare for their final rallies ahead of the general election. These rallies are scheduled for tomorrow. For the NPP, they will be holding their rallies at the University of Ghana Sports Park, and the NDC will be holding theirs at the Zurak Park in Medina. As part of measures to ensure there is security, law and order, and both parties and their supporters are able to hold their rallies without any security breaches, the Inspector General of Police today led a team from the Police Management Board and the Accra Regional Commander and his divisional commander as well to visit the locations. They walked the various locations to look for access route, to make sure that we can coordinate the movement of the supporters to the two rallies without any security hitches whatsoever. At Medina, we met leaders of the groups or representatives of the parties on the ground, and we engaged with them, did the walk with them, toured the location, look at their parking sites, look at the main event center. We inspected exit and entry points. We did the same thing at Wuogon as well, where we met some representatives of the party and the IGP, engaged with them, interacted with them, made them understand why we thought that recce was necessary, all aimed at ensuring that everybody who shows up for either rally will be safe. After that walk and inspection of the two facilities, the representatives of the parties were invited to a meeting at the headquarters, which meeting just ended. And at the meeting, we discussed with them the need to put in place some road diversions and roadblocks to help direct their supporters to the various locations without any difficulties at all. After deliberations with both the leaders of the NPP and the NDC, both of them agreed with the police. They were actually very happy that we had put such arrangement in place for them. They expressed their commitment to work with their party supporters, their faithfuls, to speak to them, to bring to the attention the security arrangements that have been put in place, so that both parties can have their rallies. As we know, both locations are quite in some proximity, but that notwithstanding, the police are going to be on the ground. We are going to deploy sufficiently to ensure that there will be no hitches at all.
Well, so that's ACP Grace Akufie-Siedu there, Director in charge of Public Affairs. They are addressing the media a while ago on plans in place for the two final major rallies for the NPP and the NDC tomorrow in Wuogon and, of course, in Medina. And let me quickly bring in the Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba, in that last-ditch efforts to actually get the undecided and then also cement the vote of the decided as well. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So let's talk about plans for tomorrow. There must be a particular reason for the choice of Legon. What would it be? Hello, Mr. Yagba.
Hello, madam. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello, madam. Yes, please.
Okay, great. I was asking, first of all, the decision that went into choosing Legon for this final rally.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Richard.
Oh, wow. Hello?
Well, it does appear that Richard Anyagba is unable to hear me, but that's when we're able to get a clearer connection to him. We'll speak to him on this particular plans for this last major rally for the NPP and the NDC. And then there's more on the campaign trail tonight, and the NDC flag bearer John Mahama has descended heavily on his opponent, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, over his recent E-Gate controversy. A footage showing the E-Gate at Kotoka International Airport reportedly delaying an opening for the vice president during the commissioning went viral after it popped up on the internet. Referring to the incident on his campaign tour in the Ashanti region, the former president took a jab at his opponent.
Na me call Abuja, mene encrophobi. Yedru airport, na bako ne passport I expire no nim. Nti ode ma omo so wo passport ewu. Eni e kai say na say ma penya be ge say you bet me the Ghana card at 2 coin. And besides say, oh, Ghana card, or say, and I'm saying, Fama, say, almost you bet me the 2 coin. Ghana, hey, immigration officer, or say there be own to me for 2 coin. Eti, Sanya, Yanino corner and the passport expire no. Ye Jano or Ghana, and your cobai. Na, and as we say, see, machina, machina, say, Oba or Memwa. Now pentema electronic into which name now what they will passport at also it me kind will passport to na kasetwem na be gate to no twem na sa de no e airport bebre na maintain say ye DC airport a o mampenya na be de tire eko bia no e be say e ade a airport bia omode to ho na Mr. Digital opeso bia hu so ya Mr. Digital I don't call Giant Libya say, Sir, electronic gates no cobiano. And now, or then the Ghana card etoso. Gates say MBA. Or the atoso gates say MBA. And the Profocasam, the American say, the digital gates didn't open for the digital man. And may you so no Nekasa. Namaka say, you can do all the propaganda with digitalization you like. If the fundamentals of your digitalization are weak, the digital gates will expose you.
Well, we know also that the People's National Congress at PNC and the Ghana Freedom Party have been officially declaring their support for the NDC in the upcoming polls. Well, we've been hearing from John Dramani Mahama on this. He says it's a clear sign of the party's victory in the December polls.
Meda yenuanom PNC for omo pie akachire Ghana for nyina se abato ayebetui omota NDC echi enti muhu PNC penyimfo a ombekasa wo ha yeda omo ase na se so mate se Ghana Freedom Party so apie akase omo be support NDC enti bibia kire se enkunimde ebe yedea.
Well, that's John Dramani Mahama. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba is still in the Ashanti region with the team, joins us on the line. Maxwell, you got to interact with the flag bearer of the PNC, the field flag bearer, Bernard Muna, on this support for the NDC. What did he tell you?
Well, he says since their declaration of support for the NDC some days ago, they've been going around canvassing the support for the party. So they've not just given the greater crisis. They've actually been traveling to different parts of the country to campaign basically for the NDC. And today they were in the Ashanti region and they decided to join the campaign trail. So I asked him why not any other political party start the NDC. He says the NDC's vision aligns with that of the PNC. And he says he's one person who has demonstrated against the implementation of the e-levy. And John Mahama has clearly espoused his position on that. So he says the PNC's vision aligns with that of the NDC. And that's why they decided to endorse the NDC and now join their campaign trail.
Well, as you can see, I have
the Ashanti regional team led by the regional chairman. We have the national youth organizer of our party. We have the general secretary. We have a NEC member, Reverend Samuel J. Debra, the national chairman, and a host of party supporters that are here with us. It is not sufficient to just declare that the PNC is supporting John Dramani Mahama and his effort to become president. It's important that we work with him. So we have been working across the country, know that the PNC members around are entreated to vote for him. So we are working assiduously that declaration, we are confident, will lead to victory for the people of Ghana in 2024.
Well, Maxwell, so tell us, the flag bearer of the NDC is still in the Ashanti region. When is he hoping to wrap it all up ahead of this major rally tomorrow?
So it is the 5th day of the campaign tour here in the Ashanti region. It is expected to wrap up his campaign in the Ashanti region tomorrow, and then later join party people in Accra for that final rally. But John Mahama is continuing his campaign with a busy schedule. His first activity today was in the Manton constituency, and then he's following with visits to about 7 constituencies. And now, as election day nears, his campaign is intensified. The team working very late into the night. The team left the hotel yesterday at 9 a.m. and returned at 3 a.m. today. Today's activities are expected to run in the early hours of tomorrow. To visit this evening before wrapping up with the day.
Okay, that's my colleague Maxwell Agbagba there giving us an update on what the NDC's presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama has been up to. We know that the running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is also out and about in Edum. That's Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe. Well, the wife of the Vice President, Samira Bawumia, has also called on voters to reject violence and resist any form of intimidation on Saturday, December 7, as we go to the polls. Well, speaking at the Ashanti Women for Peace Conference in Kumasi, Mrs. Bawumia urged voters to exercise their franchise peacefully and avoid any instance of violence in the voting process. She's been speaking to my colleague Nanabwachi Dankwa Yadom in the following report.
It's obvious to have development, you need peace. And we've seen the tensions around. We've heard some of the rhetoric, which is very unfortunate. But we need to continue as leaders to encourage our people to be peaceful. Elections are not about conflict, they're about making a choice. And a choice should be a peaceful choice. And inshallah, victory will be for the new patriotic party. But we need to vote in peace.
Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia winning the elections?
Absolutely.
So that's Samira Bawumia there interacting with Nanabwachi Dankwa Yadom. Well, a kebab of a business that kept a family afloat came tumbling after the owner lost some fingers 2 decades ago. Patrons of Paulina Brago's kebab business shunned her, maybe because of the disability suffered in the accident. She's been rendered jobless after the accident made her frail. In the following report, Nanaya Ojima explores political party manifestos in relation to empowering women like Paulina.
Paulina Brago sits in front of her room saddened, wondering where the day's meal will come from. After losing 2 of her fingers in an accident, all patrons of her kebab business refused to patronize her.
3 days, 4 days, in Sukra
I sometimes go 3 days without food. I fell ill due to that. All I am able to do is to turn to God for help.
According to the latest unemployment data by the Ghana Statistical Service, about 2 out of 10 women are unemployed. Paulina has managed to switch jobs after her accident, but she could barely last in any since her health has remained unstable. Few days to the 2024 general elections, the new Patriotic Party is promising the implementation of the Women's Trade Empowerment Fund to provide loans and grants for female businesses. The opposition National Democratic Congress presents a similar alternative, proposing the establishment of a Women's Development Bank. Gender financing expert Sarah Anam supports the approach of both parties, but the mode of implementation should be reconsidered.
Create a certain revolving fund that sits with the central bank to probably give these funds to financial institutions to only lend to women at cheaper rates.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has granted executive approval for the upgrade of selected districts to municipalities and to metropolises. According to the Ministry of Local Government, it is aimed at enhancing a local governance and development. My colleague Michael Ashali joins me in studio with the specific assemblies upgraded. First off, how many assemblies have been approved to be upgraded, you say?
Emefa, 7 of them have been given the green light to be upgraded, either from a municipality or metropolitan, from a district to a municipality. I'll walk you through the full list that we have here. So we start from the whole municipal assembly as it is now. We'll now assume a new status of the whole metropolitan assembly. We also have Sunyani Municipal Assembly that will also now become the Sunyani Metropolitan Assembly. New Joabin South and then Wa municipal assemblies will now also become New Joabin South Metropolitan Assembly and then Wa Metropolitan Assembly. In terms of the district assemblies that will be moving to municipalities, we have 3 of them: Offenso North, Bream North, and then Karaga districts. All of them will now change to municipal assemblies.
And you've been digging a bit more into the constitution as to why this will happen and under what circumstances assemblies will qualify to be upgraded. Tell us what you found.
Yes, MFR. So if you look at the Act 936, it spells out exactly what will qualify districts to be upgraded from municipal to metropolitans. It says that in case of a district, there is a minimum population of 75,000 people. If you also go to a municipality, it also needs a minimum of 95,000 people. And then for metropolis, you need at least a minimum of 250,000 people. And before this is done, there's a collaboration that has to be done with the electoral commission, who will have to also make a recommendation under this particular section to the Ministry for Local Government, who will then also forward this to the President, as we have seen, and will approved by the President himself.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, the Electoral Commission says it is fully prepared for tomorrow's special voting exercise in the eastern and western regions, with all materials dispatched to polling stations there. With just hours to go, special voters such as security personnel, election officials, and media have one more chance to cast their ballot ahead of the polls. Deputy Commissioner at the EC, Dr. Bosman Asare, speaks about the Commission's readiness earlier on the Midday News.
The Electoral Commission is very much ready for the special voting tomorrow. As we speak now, all the materials that are required for the elections have been dispatched to the 2 regions. That's the western region and the eastern region. So we do expect that all those who are special voters in these 2 regions, regardless of where they are located now, will be able to make it to their special voting centers. In the eastern region, we have 33 centers, and in the western region, we have 17 centers. So we expect all registered voters go there in their numbers to go and vote. Because if you are a special voter and you don't go there tomorrow to go and vote, you will not be able to vote on December 7th. So we expect that they will all take advantage of this window and vote.
Well, from reprinting of this new ballot papers, at least for the 2 regions, up until delivery, would you say that all the parties are aligned in terms of no objections at all to this new process?
Yeah, we know when the issue came up, we had a meeting with the parties, and the parties were in full support, because all of us are committed to the integrity of the process. And in that meeting, the main conclusion was about integrity, ensuring that the elections will be very fair, free, transparent, embedded in a lot of integrity. And that's what we did by taking that decision to reprint the ballots for the eastern and for the western regions. So as we speak now, none of the parties has raised any red flag, and all of us are in unison working together to ensure that Ghana achieves another successful general election.
But what's the status of the investigations into that leaked ballot paper?
So, we have been incredibly consumed by the printing of the ballots and getting ready for the special voting. And so we've allowed those who are in charge to continue with their investigations. And as you may be aware, once everything is consummated, they will bring it to the attention of the Commission.
That's Dr. Bosman Asare there speaking to me earlier on the Midday News about preparedness for the special voting exercise in the 2 outstanding regions. It was rescheduled to tomorrow because of that leaked ballot paper. Well, we'll find out on the grounds how things are actually shaping up. My colleague Kofi Siao has been interacting with the EC director at that level.
All the ballot papers for the special votings have arrived. We got them this morning at exactly 7:45 a.m. and we have distributed them to our officers. Our officers were here, so all the 33 constituencies have gotten their ballot papers for the special voting. So tomorrow, the elections will come on. As we praise, they've gotten all the ballot papers for the special voting as well as the May election. So they are set and they've gotten to Afram Prince as I'm speaking now. For the May election, we are expecting the ballot papers tomorrow. So we hope to receive them tomorrow, and then we'll do further distributions to the constituencies.
Well, so that's the EC Regional Director interacting with my colleague Kofi Sian. Kofi, so that's your interaction that we've just been hearing between yourself and the EC Regional Director. I'm sure you've been interacting with the various political parties and the agents as well. What have they been telling you about preparations for tomorrow?
All the agents of the political parties were present, especially the visible ones, the NDC and the MPP were around, as well as the independent candidates. And after the distribution and all the taking of the serial numbers, I spoke to the NDC, Eastern Regional Director of Elections, Alaji Sidi Bello, and he says that they are very content with what has transpired so far. But I never got the opportunity to speak to the NPP Director of Elections. He was around, but he left early before we conducted the interview.
But generally, though, you would say that all is set for tomorrow.
Yes, if what took place today is anything to go by, I can say that everything is set, just as the EC Director for the region said. And so far, the political parties have expressed content with the process. And I'm sure tomorrow, when the process begins, everything will be fine.
We are grateful. That's Kofi Sian, my colleague there in the Eastern region. We're told that all is also set in the Western region. And of course, we are all over it for you, your election headquarters. We're also hearing from the Electoral Commission dismissing claims circulating on social media about a video allegedly showing a voter register for Hafuano 1 and 2 being transported in a white pickup truck along with other registers. In a statement signed by the Deputy Chair of Operations, Samuel Tete, the Commission labeled the video as fake and urges the public to disregard it. For them, it's important to note that the Commission provides the final register to the political parties and has been the practice. The political parties also print the final register for their agents. Additionally, it is instructive to note that the truck in the video does not belong to the Electoral Commission of Ghana. The public should therefore disregard the said video and said it is calculated to create suspicion and mistrust for the Commission and its work, and they are urging the police to investigate this particular matter. The registration number of the pickup truck, which is visible in the video, should be able to assist the police with their investigations. And that's the Electoral Commission on that. And my colleague Ina Thalia also joins us briefly from the Western region on preparations ahead of tomorrow. Ina, what can you tell us? All is set?
Yes, Emefa, from residents that I have spoken to, they are ready to cast their vote tomorrow. Unfortunately, the regional EC officer, H.A. Wilson, has not picked my call since morning. I've been trying to call her to find out their preparation, but I'm yet to get to her. But from residents, they are ready for the ballot tomorrow to cast their vote in all 17 constituencies in the Western region.
Thank you very much. That's my colleague Ina Thalia Kwanzaa giving us updates on the situation in the Western region. George Wiafe is here in the Greater Accra region with me in the studio. Have you voted?
I couldn't vote, so I'll vote on Saturday in the morning.
Okay.
Quickly do that and come to work.
Your vote is your right. You need to vote. Okay. And, what's in business? Is my gold ready?
Oh, we are still
working on it,
saving the cash so that we can buy your
quarter
ounce of gold as your Christmas present.
If you make it 2, it should be fine.
And quarter ounce is going for over 11,000 Ghana cedis.
So what? Am I not worth more than 11,000 cedis? Masa, what's in business?
Your price cannot be quantified in terms of value being put on your life and what you present to me.
You should be a politician. Look at you.
Well, coming up in business, rising prices of some food items pushed November inflation marginally to 23%, and $360 million IMF cash finally hit Bank of Ghana's account, a move expected to help with the current stability of the local currency. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Sintestanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
My man, I heard there's a new app on the streets that does it all for you.
Ah, really? How is that possible?
Charlie, I also could not believe it too. But I downloaded the app and I'm telling you, I was able to chat with my friends, make video calls, and...
Well, we know of many apps that can do that.
Oh, let me finish, la. I was also able to listen to the latest songs, play games, and read the latest sports news.
For real?
Yeah, and I can send and receive money from the app. Amazing, no?
What's the name of this app?
It's called Ayoba.
Ayoba?
Yeah, Ayoba.
Get Ayoba, your all-in-one app that lets you chat, call, share, play, pay, and listen to music all in one app for everyone. Enjoy Ayoba with MTN and download the Ayoba app today. Everywhere you go.
Hooray! The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is organizing its end-of-year furniture promotional sales from the 15th of November to the 31st of December this year. Kingdom Books and Stationery is giving away a whopping 10 to 15% discount on all furniture at our furniture shops. Head office, Akweji, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Tema, Comte 4, Takrady, opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast, University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic, Centerpoint Mall, Winneba, University Campus, KNUSD, the University Bookshop, Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit and shop online at www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764101 or email us at info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Dear Chatwo, a son say a bushing on your from Contino. You can't say ye Pepsodent, I didn't also a can your money home.
Hey, wohu, we could hear wo, no he wole, was shre, nana no ne, wakeba.
Hey, Ampo, Odinda so, Imamenae, and Fanny, dear.
One so bet to me to ding out to Pepsodent Busia Park no so. But we bush us by more who do, for we need to rest to a bear will not come to Pepsodent Busia Park. FDA, check the incarto yet to move.
From the classroom to the lab, from the village to the city, the NPP's commitment to education is building a brighter Ghana. Free SHS isn't just about free tuition, it's an investment in Ghana's future. We have topped it up with free TVET and STEM education, skilled graduates, innovative thinkers, and a thriving economy. That's the promise of free SHS.
3 of my cousins have benefited from free SHS since 2017. One has graduated and is in nursing training. The other 2 are also in the university. I'll vote number 1. I'll vote for Baumia on December 7th.
We are building a better tomorrow through education. Vote NPP. Vote number 1. Vote Baumia. Baumia means business. Estro.
Civic beauty required of you as a Ghanaian. So get involved and vote.
A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
As Ghana prepares to go to the polls on December 7th, you can do more than just vote. Be a citizen, not a spectator. Join the collation process by entering the EC's declared results from your polling stations on the iCollate app. Download the iCollate app from the Google Play Store and App Store or visit our website icollate.app or dial *800 *2024 hash to input your polling station results and monitor the elections in real time right on your phone. Collation by the people, for the people, and in the interest of the people. Let's all do our part in making this elections a transparent and fair one.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, rising prices of some food items like vegetables, tubers, and cereals push inflation rate for November to new levels. The Ghana Statistical Service put the figure at 23%. There is more in this report.
The increased food prices is coming at a time that most market watchers were looking forward to the country benefiting from the harvest season for the third quarter of this year. However, it appears that was not the situation. The general price levels for food from September to November this year had gone up almost 4%. However, on the non-food side, it went up marginally. Another interesting development from the data released by the Ghana Statistical Service also showed that imported inflation was rather going down, while inflation for locally produced items witnessed some marginal increase for the month of November this year. Vegetable, tubers, plantains, as well as cereals were some of the food prices that caused the hike in inflation for the month of November. The Savannah region recorded the highest inflation of 46% at the regional level.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, government statistician Professor Samuel Kobneni has been given more details about the drivers for the inflation rate for November.
We defined items with significant weights as those that have weight greater than 1. And in that basket, we saw plantain, specifically green plantain, with a weight of 1.0, recording an annual rate of change of 61% for the month of November 2024. Yam also on an annual basis recorded a price change of 58.7%. And then tomatoes, that was driving rate of inflation a few months back, out of the 30 items that we have with significant weight, recorded deflation of 3.7% on a month-on-month basis for the month of November 2024.
Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobneni. On the country's total earnings from exports for the third quarter of this year went up marginally. The Ghana Statistical Service puts the amount at $4.9 billion. There is more in this report.
Gold was the major driver behind the surge in Ghana's total export earnings ending September this year. It contributed over 60% of total exports for the period. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, total gold exports amounted to 11.6 billion cedis. Crude oil followed, generating significant earnings for the country from July to September 2024. The top 5 exports, gold, crude petroleum, cocoa paste, manganese ore, and tuna, collectively accounted for 83.2% of total exports. On the import side, Ghana spent 4.7 billion from January to September this year, resulting in a trade surplus of 3.9 billion cedis. Meanwhile, United Arab Emirates emerged as the top export destination for the third quarter of this year, accounting for 25% of all commodities that were exported from July to September 2024.
And that is a Business Desk report on the $360 million IMF cash has finally hit Bank of Ghana's account from Washington, D.C. US. Now, Joy Business understands that it came in yesterday. Now, this could increase Bank of Ghana's international reserves to more than $8 billion following this inflow. The Monetary Policy Committee data released last week showed that November reserves had hit $7.92 billion. Meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Kojo believes this could go a long way in helping stabilize the Ghana cedi.
Help to stability of the foreign exchange, because we've enjoyed some relative stability lately, and with an additional inflow that will help satisfy some forest demands, especially given the period we find ourselves in an election year, and then also towards when December occur. And of course, we know the first quarter of every year there is repatriation of profit, so there's going to be some pressure on the forest. So this certainly will help maintain some stability. on the forex market, therefore will not translate into higher prices of imported items and also inflation.
And that is economist Professor Peter Kojo talking about the $360 million IMF cash that has hit the Bank of Ghana's accounts and the impact of this on the local currency. Now, more oil marketing companies are expected to increase prices of petroleum products at the pumps. Now, this is coming after Shell and Total Energies took the lead this morning to hike their prices at the various service stations across the country. There is more in this report.
Some of the oil marketing firms engaged by Joy Business said they will go ahead to review prices at the pumps in the coming days. This is based on some industry developments that have resulted in adjusting prices to prevent the situation from getting worse due to happenings in the industry. Some of the players had initially told Joy Business that they were prepared to hold on with any price increase, as others considered reduction in prices. Again, the decision by Shell and Total Energies to increase prices could force other oil marketing companies, which were initially hoping to hold prices, to reconsider their decisions. It is interesting at this time, some major indicators are going down. For example, the Ghana cedi is stabilizing while prices of finished petroleum products also declining on the international market. It will also be interesting to see the margin of reduction by more than 150 oil marketing companies in the country.
And that's a business desk report, and that's all for business on news. If you're talking about development on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and if you hold MTN shares, each is up by 2 pesos to close at 2 cedis 40 pesos. And your present Emefa is that fuel prices are actually going up. Contrary to industry data that suggested that it should have gone down from the 1st of December. And we've seen some interesting.
You say that's a present, yeah?
Yeah, that's the initial present. Then the gold coin will come later.
Okay, let the gold coin come before. Okay. Well, thank you very much, George. Let's do sports now. Musbao, what do we have?
Well, Emefa, former Ghana international Sam Johnson is the one who's been speaking about Baba Rahman, and he's advising the left back. He's been advising the left back to stay away from the Black Stars for the foreseeable future. Now, Baba Rahman last featured for Ghana during the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Central African Republic in Kumasi, where he faced some jeers from sections of the crowd. Subsequently, Baba Rahman withdrew from the squad for the 2023 AFCON after being named in the provisional 55-man list by coach Chris Hughton. Now, despite this, Rahman has been in stellar form for his Greek club this season, making 10 appearances and scoring 3 goals, and he has renewed calls for his return to the national team. However, Sam Johnson, speaking to online sports news portal Football Pan-Africa Football, stated that, and I quote, "If I were him, Baba Rahman, I won't come. He has suffered a lot from Ghanaians, including some of us." He goes on to say, "If I were to be him, I don't care whether I'm playing like Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. I won't come." But he says that decision is up to him, and it's up to him to make it. Now, away from that, well, it's one of the presidential candidates, Cheddar and Kwame Bediako, has come under heavy criticism for criticizing Ghanaians who spend 2 hours watching football. Now, according to him, he says spending 2 hours to watch football is a waste of time, and Ghanaians should find better use of their time. Now, first of all, let's listen to what he said, and I'll tell you what some Ghanaians have been saying.
I think that, first of all, if you spend 2 hours watching football almost every 2 days, in a year, you would have spent 1,000 hours of your time or 500 hours of your time watching football, that somebody is getting paid $500,000 a week, but you watch them for free and pay your hours into it, okay? And I don't think that's a good investment, because your time is your most important asset, but you have to use it sensibly. But what I would do for sports, which I think we're lacking, that will stop people from just watching and not being a part of the industry, is to start to infuse sports right into our educational system by partnering with people who are specialized on that.
So that's Kwame Bediako, and I can see for you were a bit, upbeat about that, and that's what some Ghanaians have been saying. Kifilu D says, that's where he will start having problems with Ghanaians. Our football he says, and Eric Diaz says that you think life is all about money. We have limited time on this earth. Let us enjoy what makes us happy. Well, Emefa, that's it for sports.
An election day, I'm told there's a match, yeah?
On
Saturday?
Yeah, on Saturday there's a match. There's a big game. There's a big game. And today even there's a big game. Manchester United versus Arsenal coming up. And we'll see what that's.
So how can you grow the sports when it doesn't have spectators?
I think we'll talk to you.
Okay.
You engage further. You engage.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Bao, for the latest from the world of sports. Now, we've been hearing tonight also from founding member of the NPP, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. He's called on the Electoral Commission and other national stakeholders to prioritize peace and fairness in the lead up to the next election. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo highlighted the sacrifices of Ghana's forebears in building a peaceful nation.
To the Electoral Commission of Ghana and its leadership, particularly Madam Jean Mensah, we issue this clarion call. History stands as a testament to the critical role of the Electoral Commission in maintaining the sanctity of our democracy. You are not the first to hold this esteemed office, and you will not be the last. The legacy of this institution has always been one of fairness, transparency, and impartiality. We urge you to ensure that the upcoming elections are conducted with utmost integrity and without any perception or trace of bias. Let us remember that the trust of the people is the cornerstone of democratic governance.
Meanwhile, former Science and Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng also at that press conference condemned the NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Intwibuesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, for calling on Asanteman to rise up against alleged intimidation from other tribes. He says that could incite violence.
Going on about some pronouncement made by Chairman Wontumi regarding some issues that happened in Techiman. I've seen that video, and before then there was another video that showed a bus returning from Granza, and when it got to Techiman, there were some people, young people, throwing stones and so on at the bus, breaking some of the windows. And the narrative was that it's Otunfo's convoy. I didn't say Otunfo's. I saw a bus. I can't say it was a convoy. Maybe it was. That was being stoned. And then there's this viral video. Chairman Wontumi called upon Ashantis to arise. You know, it's a war cry. I mean, trying to instigate war in this country. I mean, Ghana is a very peaceful country.
Well, on the conduct of Ghanaians on Election Day, retired military officer Brigadier General Nunu Mensah at that press conference also called on the public to protect the country's democratic values.
But when we are gone, how are you going to take Ghana? When some of us are gone, people like Dr. here in our 80s are gone. Are you going to manage Ghana? Are you going to be able to manage Ghana? Do you have the courage to speak the truth, defend Ghana? That's what worries me most of the time, that we don't have the personnel with that kind of courage to speak their mind. I ended up fighting with everybody. As I was marching in Nkrumah one day, but I'm not here for that. I championed everybody because I stood by the truth. I will never hide the truth. So be truthful. Tell the Ghanaians what is going on, so that those who are seeking political office know that they are promising so many things. Everything they are promising. I know they won't be able to do them. I know they can't. They won't be able. But they are promising. I never made any promise, but I made a few things that I contributed to national development. So I hope and pray that we can go to the election process without any big issue.
And tonight, there's also a call on civil society organizations in the country, and this is coming from the Institute of Democratic Governance, IDEG. They've been asked to collaborate with one another on information sharing ahead of the polls. IDEG has deployed 1,500 observers across the country with representatives in 150 constituencies. Addressing the media at the launch of IDEG's National Elections Control Room in Accra, the Executive Director, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, emphasized that ensuring the accuracy of information will help prevent duplication and curb misinformation.
There are so many situation rooms now, and what information do they get? How do they process it? For example, with the CFI IDEG, you don't just take information and then give it to somebody else. You have to do some research. You have to talk to people involved in those things, and then it's only when you are able to do that and have the evidence, so that if it's a criminal case or something the police must know, you have the evidence that this is an important issue they must act on, and so on. We also should avoid duplication or race in putting forward information. It's just like radio. When you all started, there was some competition, everything goes on. But this can't be like that, because elections, much as we all queue up and vote, also has dangerous elements. It has emotional sides of it. People want to win, they are afraid of losing, and then it's a winner takes all. It's been like that for some time. So we tend to want to say whatever information is going out has been verified. Now that there are many, some code of conduct may be necessary, some training will be necessary, so that we don't compete in putting information out that has not been verified. It will affect us negatively.
That's the Executive Director of the Institute of Democratic Governance, Dr. Akwete, Emmanuel Akwete, there on that call to CSOs in terms of collaborating to get the work done. Well, Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono has tonight also authorized the judge who presided over the criminal trial of the failed Joabing MCE nominee to deliver judgment in the case despite having been transferred. Justice Priscilla Dikru Ofori had set November 28 as a day to render her verdict on the matter of election-related corruption filed by the OSP against Kwabena Safokantanka, but was transferred, leaving the party stranded in court last week with a new judge. The Chief Justice is now giving the judge the go-ahead to deliver her judgment. Kweku Asante of our Legal Affairs Desk has more.
It was an unexpected twist of events on the 28th of November when officers of the Special Prosecutor went to court only to meet a new judge in this case. Justice Priscilla Dikru, who had been presiding over the trial since 2022, had been transferred. They were not aware. The case had almost concluded, with the only outstanding business being the final judgment. In 2022, Mr. Safokantanka was charged by the Special Prosecutor over election-related corruption. The OSP accused him of seeking to influence the conduct of about 26 assembly members who are members of the Joabing Municipal Assembly by giving them an amount of 5,000 cedis during an election to confirm his nomination by President Akufo-Addo in September of 2022. The meeting to confirm Mr. Safokantanka, Joabing Constituency New Patriotic Party chairman as MCE, was marked with drama as he publicly demanded the refund of monies paid to some assembly members to influence them to get him confirmed. The OSP consequently charged him in court and a trial ensued. Private legal practitioner Samson Ladi Anyenini described the situation surrounding the transfer of the judge as not regular, but said it was not unusual. He explained that the Chief Justice may give the judge a warrant to conclude the case.
It may not be regular, but it is not unusual. So I'm doing a trial and we take an adjournment. Within a matter of a week, we return and the judge who is doing the matter has been transferred.
Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, according to the Judicial Service, has given the judge a warrant to conclude this case. A statement from the Judicial Service said, quote, "The judge has presented a list of all outstanding judgments and rulings and has been authorized to deliver all outstanding judgments and rulings." Unquote. The Judicial Service says, contrary to certain publications in the media, transfers within the judiciary are not meant to truncate ongoing cases. They are annual administrative processes that are carried out depending on the situation with judges who serve in the various courts in the country. Kweku Asante for Joy News.
And that's how we wrap up tonight's edition of Newsnight. But don't forget, the election headquarters will start our coverage with the election eve on Friday, 6th December at 7 p.m. Guess what to expect? After months of campaigning, the race ends here. Election eve in Ghana, in a way only Joy News can bring to you. From the first vote, the analysis of trends to the critical count. Understand what is happening in your constituency and across the country on your most trusted name in election coverage. Joy News, your election headquarters. Election eve in Ghana, Friday, 6th December 2024. The Joy News special coverage starts at 7 p.m. And we are there also for you for the 2 major rallies tomorrow. You want to stay with us here on Joy 99.7 FM Joy News, also my joyonline.com and all our social media platforms. I am Emefa. Apawu, strong and sassy with the Nimwa Enimado is up next. Please do stay. Anyone, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, so tonight, ahead of the elections, we want to know what's on the minds of women. You know, what do they want from the next government? What does it mean for them to have peace? So tonight's show is a very interactive show, and that's really it. But we'll be starting with you, so stay tuned in.